So today I'm going to attempt to replicate the style of Arrigo Sacchi. So here's some of the main principles that he used in his AC Milan team. So I'm not necessarily going with all of these. These are just some of the things that I looked at first of all, tried to apply, and then just sort of changed it according to Football Manager's match engine. One thing in particular I took out was the offside trap that rushed forward. One, it doesn't really work like that, and two, I don't think it really is needed in the modern game. So this is what I've done with the tactic.
Goalkeeper really hasn't really got a good first touch or passing, so I've just sort of kept him on goalkeeper with fewer risks. Maybe they played a little bit different, but I've just gone for that because of my team. So I did initially. I had two wing backs on the side here, and I just want them sort of pass it short. I sit now and take fewer risks, so they sort of just come up here, sit in here, and he'll pass it inwards, and then as they build up to the midfield, he'll kind of get released up here, whereas he'll start a little bit higher. And then he'll probably dribble the ball more up here and cross in there. So what I've done is added low crosses. So then what you get is the cutbacks, because what you want is if this guy's up here dribbling the ball and you want him to sort of pass the ball inside sometimes, and this guy he'll kind of be in that area. You have an attacking midfielder in that area, and the complete forward will be dropping off. So. And then this guy here, he hasn't got any instructions, neither has he. But he'll kind of be a bit more creative and drive into there. His mentality is not as high, so you see the mentality of the inverted winger is only balanced with a balanced mentality, whereas this guy's he's attacking, so he's going to punch forward a little bit more. And then you've got these guys here; they're mostly going to be sort of balanced as well, so they'll sit back a little bit. They haven't got any instructions on them either. Obviously, he's going to be making these sort of late runs into the box. I did initially add this on a central midfielder. Tried out a few different roles here. I had a roaming playmaker here at one point, but I've kind of settled on these two now. They seem pretty good. They sort of create that sort of double pivot as well when we drop back. There's two midfielders there. Now, with the centre backs here, I did used to have this as a ball playing defender, but I just signed Bastoni, so he's obviously he's got good passing and everything like that. So what you could have, so like I mentioned in the instructions about the offside traps, you could play that, but you're going to need good defenders for this. And it was a little bit different back then as well. I mean, like in the 90s, 80s, 90s, everyone was sort of using offside traps. Nowadays, it's not such a big thing. So you can see these guys are all quite quick. But you also want that sort of, concentration. He's not going to be my regular right back. I'm just using him for now. Just put him in there for now. But, he's not too bad. I could do another sort of strong centre back. Really, I've got three. I'm just on the lookout for a new one. So, but this guy is sort of exactly what you want. Good jumping reach, good acceleration, good pace, good decisions, concentration, bravery. Everything's sort of what you need really for a defender. And then for your midfielder here as well, you're going to want good passing technique. Vision. To be fair, he can play either. These two can play either, and then so can Locatelli as well. So I want one more like that one, and one more who can play box to box and DLP. I think I've got. I've been looking at this guy. He's quite. He's got for 20. He's okay, 24. I literally just need someone who's going to be like a full fifth choice. So I don't really want to be spending loads of money on wages and stuff. So, he'd probably be a good choice. And then I've got this young guy as well, who sort of gets games as well. So his attributes starting to look good. He can pass and tackle. His long shots and his finishing is not too bad as well. So he could play that box to box role and sort of make them late runs. He's not so good. So probably better off actually going Tonali box to box because of his. He's got that. He's got all these playmaker sort of traits, but then he's got this. Runs with the ball often and brings, things like that. So, that can sort of help with a playmaker. I'm not sure, deep laying playmaker, if you want him running with the ball too much. Sometimes I just want him to sort of hold. He doesn't, on a defend duty he'll hold, but I keep getting this glitchy thing. On a defend duty he'll hold, but not so much on the other one. So that's the sort of outline I'll take this to go through the instructions then. So I've gone through, I did have a narrow initially, and I used to go sort of shorter passing, higher tempo, but it just, the shot percentage around sort of about 23, 24 games in was still only 42%, so something wasn't quite right, and usually what was happening is everyone was kind of rushing off, and if you look how Milan did play then, they did sort of break on quick counters and stuff, but Hullet would sort of hold the ball up here a little bit as well, and he would take people on. So I didn't really. It's a difficult one here. I didn't really want him. I've got all his instructions here. So like I want him to press. I want him to get forward, move into channels, roam, and then dribble more. So you can't really have someone who dribbles more and holds up the ball. So I mean, you could if you went like a deep lane forward, or something like that. You probably could do that, but it's not really, it didn't really work the same. So I found the best way is to sort of lower the tempo down a little bit, so that when the ball does get up into his area, because they'll sort of hold it up a little bit and just wait for everyone. They sort of they attack and defend as a unit, so they don't really have all these sort of players rushing off forward, and these just sitting back. They all sort of come forward, come back together. So one of the things as well is they go quite, so with the instructions here, they used to go quite tight, keep compact in their midfield shape. So I haven't got closed down more on these guys. So they're usually a little bit more forward than these two guys, but they kind of drop back. So you do get that sort of cohesion. You get that two banks of four, and they tuck quite in. The complete forward will drop back, and the AM will close down more. So they kind of look like a two as well. So you kind of end up getting a 4-4-2 shape there anyway. I use tighter marking just sort of just to keep that that sort of from the players sort of coming out a little bit, just marking the players. I don't really want them pressing all over the place. So I want them to hold them lines, and then I've got the counter press instruction on. So then that way, they are sort of doing that bit of pressing. So you're getting a little bit with the counter. I found it a little bit too rushed, to be honest. Like I said earlier with the tempo, it was just I just kind of took everything back a little bit. I did have positive and all sorts, but it was just getting rushed forward too much, and it's not really what I wanted. So I just got the goalkeeper taking short kicks again. I found this year it's just even if you just have this on there, they'll still be hoofing the balls up. So hence why I've gone take fewer risks, just pass it short and just keeping it quite safe. You'll still play balls out because it's just what goalkeepers do, especially if the players are being pressed here. He hasn't really got the option, and then he'll go a bit longer. So he won't just pass, do a stupid pass just to here for him to get tackled. So a couple of things you want to watch out for is just this wing back. You could switch this one to a fullback as well. Because he might dribble the ball up here and lose the ball. Same as the ball playing defender. You need a good ball playing defender here, really. So I mean, an option could be just to go sort of centre back there and full back there, especially if you're playing it with a team that's not that good, So you could switch a few of the roles around. This here could probably be a pressing forward or something like that, deep lane forward, something. Because it's not every team. You want to play in like the Championship, League One, maybe even some Premier League teams and Serie A teams. They don't really have like complete forwards everywhere. So just for this, we're just playing out defence, building up, just getting the ball to there, and then we want to go quite wide because we was always just too congested. We've got you've got these four guys here, and if they're all packed right in, you've got the fullbacks moving up, wing back and fullback moving up as well. You can all get a bit tight in there, so you want to try and stretch it out a little bit, create a little bit of space. And these two are just hold hands all the time, otherwise if you're narrow, they're just always on top of each other. So I just try and stretch it out a little bit. I did sort of move into channels with him. I didn't really have much on him at first, but I had to dribble more. I just like a little bit more movement off him, otherwise he just sits there and he'll drop back and he'll just work sometimes, but. And then I got the work ball into the box, which I didn't have initially, but I tried it. It just, again, it's just another way of sort of holding the ball here and just waiting for players like the inside forward and these guys to get into position, and then you can sort of make them passes into the box. Because I don't really, you're going to get some long shots coming from outside the box going in, but you can't rely on that. So you're going to need to be getting like nice balls into the box. They're getting the players like one-on-one in a good area. Not even just out wide hitting. I mean, this far post stuff can work really well, but depends where depends how you want multiple options. Really, you don't just want to be always just crossing to the far post or relying on headers because it's not great. So with it being more expressive again, that's just to get a little bit more movement going on amongst these top players. But yeah, that's mostly it really. So I'm going to use this in the second season. So as you can see there, it's just started a new month now, a new season now, so you can see there, I've done well. Won 31 games, 13 of them were 1-0. and just managed to lose one. So it wasn't a high scoring tactic. But like I said at the beginning, he didn't really, Milan weren't high scorers then. They kept good, they got a good amount of clean sheets, didn't, and you can see some of the stats I posted at the beginning. They didn't concede many goals over a season, so I conceded 13, which I was quite happy with. In the first season, I played a different tactic, which I'll show you now. So, again, that was a lot more high scoring, and it didn't really concede that many either, really. So it wasn't too bad, but it was a little bit counted. So this is probably people probably think this probably looks a little bit more like a Sacchi tactic, to be honest. So you got inverted wingers here. You could go wide midfielders, or at least one of the sides. You could go full back attack here as well. Again, you could go centre back here, but it's pretty much. I haven't got this route of centre back here or the pass it shorter. And I've got focus play through the middle and narrow in this one. And then here you see, so this is initially what the other one started out, and then it kind of just morphed into a 4-4-1-1 at first, and then it just became a 4-2-3-1 over time. So I kind of went with this, and then I had this option as well. So this guy would drop back. This is generally a wide midfielder. Depends who I'm playing there, to be honest. So this guy would sit a little bit narrower. He'll drop back a little bit. So sometimes you get a little bit of a free going on. I mean, this guy, you'll get a nice natural overlap going on over here. So there's no real need to play. Overlaps on here, because he's already got like positive. He's a positive mentality. So that's all right. But you put an overlap there, it's just going to drop his mentality down further. Which it might be something you might want, but try it out, see what you think. Particularly this guy, I don't really want his mentality down because I want him to burst him. I want him acting almost like a third striker. So what you get is this guy will be sort of here, he'll drop down, he'll tuck in, and then this guy will come up and then he'll drop off a little bit. So you get almost like a 4-3-3 going on there. This guy could be a ball playing defender again. But for the safer option, you could just play no nonsense centre back. Again, see that one there. I've got a ball playing defender on that one, so you could go goalkeeper, sweeper, keeper, defender, defence. But again, he's not got a good first touch and stuff like that. So I'll just keep it quite safe for the goalkeeper. So these are the three that I've used over the last 2 seasons. Sort of just going off some of the research I've done and what you can actually get working on Football Manager. One of the key things I've just taken out was the offside trap. I know they all used to sort of sprint forward, but it doesn't work like that on here anyway, and it just leaves you really vulnerable. You'll concede goals. I don't know at what point, I can't remember what point I took it out now, but I wasn't conceding loads of goals at the beginning, but there was a point where I changed it and then I had a run of clean sheets somewhere. But yeah, it definitely helped not having the offside trap on. So like I said, last year I had Rob Agnoli, he only had like acceleration of 12. He's got 14, he's got 13, and I'm just looking for a new right back. So, but at the moment he's pretty quick, so you might get away with it. But it's not something I'm really bothering at all with on Football Manager now. I've just taken the offside trap off most of my tactics, sort of in the last month. I just got fed up of just seeing people, people trying to spring the offside trap and then running through and beating it. You don't really need. It's not necessary. So I wouldn't bother with it. So yeah, try it out. I'll put the tactics in the folder, but see what you think of it. Any suggestions how you tweak it or anything like that would be helpful. I'm always trying to sort of replicate things. It's quite hard when you're doing something from the 80s and 90s. You've got to sit there and watch some highlight videos, watch a couple of matches, Champions League finals over lockdown when the football wasn't on anyway. So I've been watching all like the Champions League finals. Not so much now because the football's back on, but that was kind of my little weekly football fix. Sometimes I'll just watch like an old Champions League game. Not necessarily that old, but there's been some good games over the years that are worth watching. So definitely, I'd recommend that as well. If you're bored one evening, you want a game to watch, nothing on, just give one of these old games a go and just see what you think of the style. I mean, it's not really changed that much over time. You look at some of the old Dutch stuff. People say about these inverted wing backs being modern and stuff, but to be fair, they was using that in the 70s. They was using these inverted. I haven't got inverted wing backs now, but just saying, what's considered as modern football really isn't. It's just recycled stuff. polished up a little bit different, I suppose, and adding some new elements to it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the tactic, and hope you're all well.